All right, Jesus did another miracle where he fed a lot of people with only a little bit of food. So they were up on a mountain and he was teaching. How many people were there? This is a little bit of a trick question. How many people were there? Okay, if you said 5,000, you're sort of right. So it does say there were 5,000 men there, because back in Bible times, they only counted the men. You can imagine how Miss Lisa feels about that. Okay, so if they only counted the men and there were 5,000 men, there were probably just as many, if not more, women and children there too. So there were much more than 5,000, but I'll give you credit if you said 5,000 because that's the number they use in the Bible. So how much food did Jesus have to feed these people with? 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. All right, so you got 5,000 people and you got 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. It's not going to go very far. I could easily eat 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish all by myself. You should see me. I can gavone when I really, I'm really hungry. All right, so where did he get this food from? Yes, there was a little boy there. That was his lunch, or maybe the lunch for him and his family. But he was the one who had it, the little boy, and he willingly shared it when Jesus asked him, or when one of the disciples asked him if he would share. So, and then Jesus made it so that was enough food to feed the 5,000 people. Not only was it enough to feed, but how many baskets of leftovers was there when everybody was full? 12 baskets of leftover food. That's some crazy miracle, huh? All right, so moving to another story. Along his travels, Jesus met a man, and his name was Zacchaeus. Now, Zacchaeus had a particular job, and tell me what his job was. He was a tax collector. Okay, now tell me what people thought about tax collectors. They didn't like tax collectors at all, kind of like today. But back then, tax collectors were known to be thieves, and they took money that didn't belong to them. So Zacchaeus had heard about Jesus, and he wanted to see him, but there was a problem why he couldn't see him. Tell me why Zacchaeus was unable to see Jesus. Because he was short. He was super short, and the crowds of people in front of him were really tall. It would kind of be like Miss Lisa trying to see over Mr. VR, who's so much taller than me. And so he couldn't see. He was trying. He was jumping up and down. He couldn't do it. So what did he do in order for him to see Jesus? He did. He climbed a tree. So cool, right? An adult climbing a tree? That's so fun. So he gets up in the tree. He can finally see Jesus. I want you to tell me something very specific. Let's see if you remember what kind of tree. Sycamore. It was a sycamore tree. I know that's a hard one to remember, but remember that, sycamore tree. So when Jesus saw him in the tree, as he was walking by, he said, Zacchaeus, and he said something to him. What did he say? He said, Zacchaeus, come down here. I'm going to your house for dinner tonight. Okay, what did people think about this? Yeah, they didn't really think this was a good idea because you didn't go to a tax collector's house for dinner. They were bad people. So they couldn't figure out why Jesus, this great, wonderful teacher, was going to go have dinner with Zacchaeus. But he did. And Zacchaeus believed that Jesus was the Son of God, and what did he tell him over dinner that he would do? So he told him two different things. The first one was that he would give half of all of his money to the poor. And the second thing was if he had cheated anyone out of any money, he would pay them back 4 times as much as he took from them. Okay, so he was going to be out a lot of money. He was going to be writing a lot of checks or be at the ATM machine, a lot, taking money out. Okay, all right. So there were no ATM machines there. But if there were, he would have been holding up the line because he was going to have to take out a lot of money. All right, so Jesus did another great miracle at the end of his life. We just learned this not too long ago, involving 3 of his best friends. It was 2 women and 1 guy. What were their names? Okay, so the women we always remember, M&Ms, because M&Ms are my favorite food, Mary and Martha, M&Ms. So always remember M&Ms, that's Mary and Martha. And their brother's name was Lazarus. Lazarus. Okay. So Jesus was far away from Bethany, where Lazarus was, and Mary and Martha lived. And he heard that Lazarus was sick. And when he heard Lazarus was sick, this is probably like his best friend, what did he do? Nothing. Right? Remember? He just stayed where he was. And he stayed there for how long? Do you remember how long he stayed where he was? Even though he knew his friend was like about to die in Bethany, he stayed for 2 days. He waited 2 days. And then he said to the disciples, all right, let's go to Bethany and see Lazarus. So when Jesus finally got to Mary and Martha's house, Martha ran out to him. And before he even got to the house, and she said something very specific to him. What did she say? She was a little upset, I think, that Jesus had waited so long to come. What did she say? She said, Jesus, if you had been here, maybe my brother wouldn't be dead right now. This story contains the very shortest verse in the whole Bible. What is that verse? Yes, Jesus wept. Because Jesus wept when they took him to the tomb where Lazarus was buried. And we kind of debate why Jesus might have cried, because you have to know that Jesus knew he was going to raise Lazarus from the dead. So, but he still might have been very upset, to see that his friend had died. He might have been very upset that nobody there seemed to believe that he was going to be able to do what he was going to do. So it's a little debatable sometimes on why Jesus cried here, but we know that he was sad about something, just like we are, and he cried. All right. So when Jesus asked them to move the stone away from the front of the tomb, Mary and Martha said something to him because they kind of didn't want to do that. Why didn't they want to move the stone away? Yeah, they said, Jesus, Lazarus been dead like 4 days, so he stinks. Ugh, can you imagine a dead body 4 days later? Ugh. But Jesus had them move the stone away, and what did he say? What did he do? He said to Lazarus, come out of the tomb. And Lazarus came out of the tomb. When he came out, what did he tell the people to do? Remember when we had Ryan all wrapped up like Lazarus? And what did he tell the people to do? Yes, he told them to rip off the burial strips that he was all wrapped up in so that he could move around like an alive person because he was alive again. All right, so Jesus did this particular miracle for a reason, and he said so. He said, this is why I've done this miracle. What was the reason? Right. He said, I had to do this miracle so that you would believe that I was truly the Son of God. He was showing them through the most incredible miracle that could possibly be done, bringing someone back from the dead, that he was the Son of God. Okay, let's move to the video lesson that we did last week when we learned 3 things about Peter, the disciple. So first just tell me, and let's review, what was Peter's nickname? The Rock. Yes, Peter was the Rock. All right. So when the soldiers came to arrest Peter, he did something because he got very angry. What did he do? Yes, he cut off the soldier's ear. Remember when Jim cut off my ear in the video? It's back. And then right after, what did Jesus do with that ear? Yes, he was able to heal the soldier and heal and put his ear back on. Okay, so he didn't lose his ear. And I told you to remember this now. What was the name of the garden where they were when Jesus got arrested? Tough name. Ready? Gethsemane. 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 See, if you say it over and over, it's not hard anymore. The Garden of Gethsemane. Okay, good. So Jesus said that Peter would pretend like he didn't even know him 3 times before what happened. Something happened at the end. 3 times before the rooster crowed. So that was basically like 3 times before morning. And when Peter heard that rooster crow, oh man, did he feel bad, because he knew that Jesus had predicted what he would do, and he did it. So we know that Jesus forgave Peter for pretending he didn't know him, because when he saw him after Jesus rose from the dead, he spoke to Peter and he asked him a question. What was the question? Yes, he said, Peter, do you love me? And then Peter would say, yes, I love you. And then what did Jesus tell him to do to show that he loved him? Yes, he wanted him to feed his sheep. Okay, how many times did Jesus ask this question and then tell Peter to feed his sheep? 3. 3 times he asked him, and 3 times he told him to feed his sheep. So what did this mean? Kind of a weird thing. What does it mean when Jesus said to Peter, feed my sheep? Yes, it meant that he wanted Peter to take care of the people that were going to be part of his new church, to help grow the new church and tell everyone about Jesus's death and resurrection, and help them to grow as Christians in what was going to be the new church. And Peter was basically going to be the first pastor of that first church. Okay. That was a lot of review questions, right? So this was our first review, and we're going to have a couple more stories. Miss Sue's telling you a story today. Mr. Todd's going to tell you one next week on Easter. We'll do some more after that, some video stories. And then at the end of all those stories, I'll do another review session on just those ones. Okay? I miss you guys, and I can't wait to see you. Bye.